When power comes to mind, you may think of tech giants such as Apple or Tesla, or perhaps heads of state from leading governments around the world. But what if I told you that a company at a mere fraction of the size wields power many magnitudes higher, so much that it is near impossible for the human mind to comprehend, operating in the shadows, picking and prodding at the financial system at every twist and turn, holding influence and control that could manipulate even the least corrupt? This is the story of Larry Fink. Born in 1952, Larry was one of 3 children in a Jewish family from California. His father owned a shoe store and his mother was an English professor. Interestingly, talk of Larry's upbringing is essentially non-existent, but it can be assumed that his family was moderately wealthy. Larry attended UCLA, where he got a bachelor's degree in political science. He immersed himself in a world of the rich, joining as a member in the Kappa Beta Phi, a secretive and exclusive Wall Street fraternity. Members included James Kane, former CEO of Bear Stearns, and former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg. After completing his education, Larry began his career in finance in 1976 at First Boston Corporation, an investment bank in New York. He was one of the first mortgage-backed security traders. According to some estimates, Larry added $1 billion to First Boston's bottom line. However, he was fired in 1986 after losing $100 million due to his incorrect prediction on interest rates. Larry responded by starting his own venture named BlackRock, co-founding it with 7 different partners. Initially, BlackRock was a division of Blackstone, but it became an independent company with Larry as the CEO after nearly a decade. Under Larry's leadership, BlackRock grew exponentially, expanding its asset base and establishing a global presence. Today, BlackRock manages over $9 trillion in assets across various strategies, including mutual funds, exchange-traded funds, and institutional accounts. That's larger than the GDP of Russia, Canada, Australia, and Germany combined. The firm serves a diverse client base, ranging from individual investors to large institutions and governments. This includes pensions and university endowments. The influence BlackRock has over companies as a result is enormous, but we'll get to that in a moment. For now, let's put its size in perspective, this time using banks. BlackRock currently has more assets under management than JP Morgan Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Capital One, TD Bank, US Bank, PNC, and Goldman Sachs combined. It is by far the largest asset manager in the world. BlackRock holds massive stake in every industry. This includes media, pharmaceuticals, financials, technology, retail, energy, and healthcare. In fact, BlackRock is one of the top holders of virtually every prominent company. This means that at any given moment, BlackRock can command the use of capital to artificially inflate a business to tremendous highs or send it to oblivion on a downward spiral. When it comes to BlackRock wielding power, ESG is a telling example, which stands for environmental, social, and governance. Larry is known for using this tool as a driving factor for BlackRock's investment decisions. He consistently advocates for so-called corporate responsibility, emphasizing the importance of sustainability and addressing climate change in his annual letters to CEOs and clients. Companies receive an ESG score based on these various guidelines, such as the environmentally friendliness of a company and their commitment to diversity in the workplace. Without committing to ESG guidelines, businesses are denied investment from BlackRock clients. It is why companies issue press releases about ESG and often have ESG statements on their websites. There's a few key moves that solidified BlackRock as the influential company that it is today. It involves questionable tactics that make many question how organic the rise of Larry and his company actually was. In 2008, during the peak of the financial crisis, BlackRock was struggling. Instead of heading to its demise, BlackRock picked up a new customer: the United States government. The US government contracted with BlackRock to clean up the mess from the crisis. This included managing toxic assets that were formerly owned by firms such as the Lehman Brothers, Bear Stearns, and American International Group. These were some of the same toxic assets that Larry helped popularize decades ago. Considering he was an early promoter of collateralized mortgage obligations, he propped up securities responsible for the credit crisis, then helped clean them up at expense to the taxpayer. BlackRock survived the crisis, not only coming out on top, but was now officially regarded as the most important asset firm in the world. 12 years later, the Federal Reserve turned to BlackRock once again, this time related to the crash following COVID-19. A lucrative deal was formed for BlackRock to advise the Federal Reserve on the purchase of billions of dollars in mortgage-backed securities, as well as investment-grade corporate bonds. There's no question that BlackRock lobbies the US government, but it goes much further. Larry serves on the boards of the World Economic Forum and the Council on Foreign Relations. The World Economic Forum is an organization that aims to shape the global agenda by identifying and discussing pressing issues facing the world. It's all about influencing policy at global levels and supports initiatives that address social, economic, and environmental challenges, not just any challenges, but ones that are carefully curated, challenges deemed fit for their ultimate agenda. It is clear that Larry is not simply in the business of managing money. He wants to manage the world. Whether it's for better or for worse, that's for you to decide. If you liked this video, I bet you will enjoy the ones on the screen. Subscribe to stay tuned for more episodes, all about the world of business and economics. Later, guys.